Today, I'm starting one of the most challenging parts of the V12 build. I've been building this for a year, we've got the engine in, we've got a lot of the chassis done, but now it's time to start on the front of the car. Today's challenge is I want to get rid of these frame rails. In order to do that, I've got to take the whole front of the car apart. I need to make some plates up here that are going to support the suspension load. That'll then allow me to start planning where the monocoque's going to go. To do that, I need to use this big piece of steel to make the front suspension mounts that are going to join the subframe onto the rest of the chassis. So I've got this 8mm steel that's going to be cut diagonally. That's going to make both the plates that I need. I'm going to be using M16 bolts through this to ensure it's really well connected onto the rest of the car. So it's going to be really sturdy but still quite lightweight. This whole plate only weighs 5 kilos. So I know some people are probably concerned with adding steel on the car, but places where it needs to be safe or really strong connection really needs to be steel. That's the best way to guarantee it's as strong and as light as it can be. So I've also now got this workbench. A lot of people said I need a workbench instead of working on the floor. So I've built this and it's strong enough to hold me. So I'm going to be using this to do the servicing on the gearbox and any engine parts. There's a members video on exactly how I made that. Next, I need to figure out how this plate is going to fit down here. So I need to remove the windscreen surround as well as the steering column. That'll give me better access to start planning this out. That's the steering column and the windscreen surround now removed. Now get good access to this area here. So the plate's going to go right here where this bar needs to join onto the dash bar, and it's going to spread the load down as well. The carbon monocoque is also going to help hold these wishbone supports in place. So the steel here is designed to take most of the driving load, and the monocoque is designed to stop the twist. So this is the shape of the plate that I'm thinking of making. It's going to slide in here and then it can bolt through into the rest of the chassis. Extra supports can go from this portion all the way up to this part here. So that'll help triangulate it. So all this here is going to go. The only bit of steel I'm keeping is going to be this section that sits around the top of the wishbone. So all this is going to be cleared out, allowing me space to triangulate as much as I can and make it really secure. Now I can chop this plate in half. That'll then give me 2 of these. I can then see how much material I've got remaining and where my bolt points need to go, like where they line up on the chassis. That'll then let me know what I need to do next. So let's get cutting. If you're enjoying this, give me a thumbs up. It takes a lot of work making these videos. I've also got memberships if you want to support me further. You'll also get members content and get a behind the scenes look at my process. Now that plate is cut, I can start planning how this is going to fit. I need to take some material off this tube just to get enough clearance to be able to put this in properly. Then this will be able to slide down there. And I can see where it needs to go, where it can bolt into the chassis and where this tube's going to land on it. That's both sides now trimmed. Now I can slide this in. That's the first one in place, ready to receive this load from the suspension. You can see I've got a lot of area here, so I can add additional bracing wherever I need it. So from the inside you can see I've got all this triangulation, lots of strength. That's both plates now test fitted. Now I can start to look at how I'm going to do the next part, which is going to be drilling through here, through the chassis, and then bolting all the way through. I need to make some steel bushings that are going to fit in the chassis, the same as what I've done back here and part of the engine mount stuff, where there's a steel bushing that goes all the way through, fully threaded with M16 thread, so it's really nice and strong. So that's my plan for how I'm going to attach these. It also gives me the ability to put a shim in this position if I ever need to shim anything. Here's the bolt points that I'm going to drill. I'm going to start with 3 and then probably put a 4th one here after I've done the reinforcement bar. That's going to transmit the load to this corner. Now I can remove them plates and drill the pilot holes. Now I can refit the plates and then drill through into the chassis. Now I can remove this plate and prepare the chassis for the bushings. Now I can use this magnet just to clear out any steel that's trapped at the bottom of the pipe. Now they're drilled, I can get making the steel bushings. That's the bushings all done, ready for tapping. I hope you enjoyed seeing this lathe segment. It was quite difficult to capture this. Now I can tap these bushings. That just gets the tap perfectly straight. Now I can put this bushing in the vise so I can finish tapping it all the way through. These ones take quite a bit of force because it's such a big thread. It's M16, but that's what also makes them really strong. So it takes quite a lot of force to put them in. That's the threads done. I've got one more tap to put through off camera, and then this is ready to mount on the car. Now I can fit these steel bushings into the frame. Now I can get these holes drilled out to M16 so that these can be bolted back onto the chassis. Now I can fit the plate. I'm using small bolts for now. The actual bolts will be a lot longer, but this makes it easier just to test fit. So these are the actual bolts that I'm going to use, just to make sure I get a lot of thread in there. That's both plates now installed. Now I can weld the bushings to the chassis. That's the bushings now welded in. Now I can weld this pipe onto the plate. Next, I can remove this old frame rail so I can cut off all this extra material. It'll also give me space to get around these joints properly and fully weld them out. And I can remove all this temporary bracing that's holding this together. With that all clear, now I can take the frame rail off. That's one of the original subframe bolts that holds the subframe to the frame rail, and it also holds the anti-roll bar in that U shape. That's the frame rail removed. Now I can chop off all this extra steel. To do that, I need to mark out exactly where I've got to cut. I need to also remove this upper wishbone. Now I can plan where I want these cuts to go. First, I just want to remove as much material as possible. So I'm going to cut down here. And across here. So all this lower chunk's going to go. This top plate's going to be saved. I want this to be quite tightly cut, but at first I need to just cut that much off, and then I can come back and trim it a bit tighter once I've got the bulk of it out of the way. So now moving to the front, this is where that single bolt went through from the subframe. I want to keep this plate because this is going to be reused in my new setup. So I need to cut it up and around here, and then I'm going to scrap all the centre section. First I'm going to follow this crease line here, and then I can trim it back further if I want to.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me, and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be fucking sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
Now we can see all the inner structure. Now this one's peeled back. You can see where I've made the cuts on the other side throughout this whole thing. So if I can get it all to meet, then I can get rid of this whole big chunk here. That's finally separated after loads of cutting. It was really tricky getting in them tight spots. I could have really done with some kind of reciprocating saw or something like that just to get them last bits. It was really hard. So that's now cut. I've got the bulk of the material removed. And there we go. All that is going. And this is what's staying. So that's my vision for how I wanted this thing to be. So that's the first cut done. You can see it's nice and lightweight. I've got all this material gotten rid of. I've only got the essentials. So I've got the wishbone pickup, the front of the subframe, and then the rear part that bolts on to the rest of the car. That means this whole thing is going to be a lot lighter than it was. I've done some more chopping off camera, so now this is ready for some paint. I still need to finish up some of the welds at a later stage, so I'm going to paint it in the weld-free primer so I can easily come back and add extra things to it. Now that's painted and protected from rust, I can prepare this to put it back on the car. Next I need to drill this third hole up to 16mm. Now I can fit this third bushing into the chassis. Now I can get both of these mounted back on the car.
I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring. Yeah, we all wanna be free. show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart? Are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs. Are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm ripped off with these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
That's both sides fitted and looking really good. I can put my hand straight through here now. So now it's a lot lighter. This is all nice and sturdy and really stiff. I'm going to tie these two together at a later time. I've still got to fully weld each side out. Now it's on the car at some stage. I'm going to leave that for a later time. I've also got to add a piece of steel in here just to send a lot of this load back to this post instead of onto the dash bar. So that's going to come at a later time as well, because I need some more material to be able to do that. These will get fully welded around at a later time. I'm just leaving everything tacked for now in case anything needs to change. I know some people are probably concerned with drilling through this upright, but this piece here is going to be replaced with roll cage steel, so it's going to make it a nice solid frame all the way around. And then there's going to be the carbon monocoque, which is going to support this column. It's going to be flatted up to the back of this plate, so that's going to take a lot of the load and add stiffness to the front of this car. There's also going to be a crumple zone, a crash structure on the front. The people have said about the safety of this thing, there's going to be a significant amount added to the front. So the front of the car is actually going to be all the way up here, almost up to the wall. There's going to be an aluminium crumple zone here, and then there's going to be a carbon fibre tub on the inside of here for storage. That's for luggage. So there's going to be the aluminium as a primary zone, and then the carbon fibre as a secondary, and then the last bit of loading is up to the subframe. But I've designed the frame in this way so that if the front ever does get bumped, it doesn't write the whole chassis off, because the split line is here on the subframe and on these new upper frame rails. So that gives me lots of space for any kind of impact to make sure this thing is as safe as it can be. I'm really pleased with how far I've got. It's massively transformed the whole front of the car. It's looking really good. So that's a good bit of progress, and it's looking a lot better. I just want to say thanks to all the members that are supporting me on this journey. It really is quite tough recording all this stuff. The recording is probably more difficult than actually just building the car. I'm finding it quite challenging because it's taken just so many hours to get each episode done. So this is recorded over about 30 days. Every day recording in the morning, editing through the evening all the way until midnight most nights. So just taking a serious amount of time. If you enjoy my channel, consider becoming a member. I've got loads of really cool stuff coming up. I'm trying to build this channel on memberships, so there's less adverts within the videos, and I can continue doing this just the way I am, without any outside interference, so I can stay true to the vision of what I want to do, building these epic cars. I've got so many cool projects planned. I'm buying parts right now for all of the various bits that I need, so when rare parts come up, I'm snagging them for upcoming builds. If this channel grows enough and memberships grow, then we're going to see some really cool builds on the channel. Thank you.